back to the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. I'm an immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States out of our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. This is episode 431 of the Immigration Answer Show. It's just me today, so we won't have a lot of the bells and whistles, but we do have a waiting room ready for you. I forgot to send out the notice of the pop-up episode, so I just sent that out a minute ago. So we'll see if the waiting room gets full, but go ahead, let us know what you're doing. The camera's a little low. We are in the process of moving downstairs. We're building out a studio here in the downstairs of the building that we bought back in December. Let us know where you're watching from. Vadim is here. Good to see Glenn and Cameron, K.A. Everybody's here. So go ahead. Let us know what you're doing this weekend, what you're doing this Saturday. Hopefully you're doing something fun. I do have an immigration connection to what I'm up to today. So after this, I'll be going down with some friends to see the United States men's national soccer team, the football team, play a friendly against Uzbekistan. And I don't know if you know this, but many people from Uzbekistan happen to be Muslim. And yesterday, apparently, while I was in New York or DC, the Uzbek soccer team came to the West Pine Masjid, which is actually where I converted back in 1998. So they were all there yesterday praying Friday Jummah prayer. So that's pretty exciting. And that would have been fun if I'd been in town to get to meet them. But I'll get to see them play, and I'm going with some buddies. My cousin Greg, who is a soccer referee, he's actually refereeing a game right now. He'll be there. So, and then a couple other friends. So excited about that. Then tomorrow, the birthday week of Jim starts. So we're going to have a birthday brunch for me tomorrow with my family. So that'll be fun. And then we're having some friends over for dinner. So that'll be nice. And then the other thing I wanted to bring up was, I don't know if you saw, but you might recall a few weeks ago we talked about I better put the waiting room in the comments. Let me do that. Here's the link, everybody. Here's the waiting room link. Like I said, I'm a one-man show today, so be on your good behavior in the comments. There we go. Oh, Bruce is watching. Hey, that's Bruce. Listen, if you have a business and your business is struggling to gain traction, I highly recommend that you reach out to our friend Bruce Sheridan. He's a great guy. He's one of our business coaches. He helps us implement what's called EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System. We've been working with Bruce for almost 3 years now, and our firm has greatly improved. Bruce is a level head when we're trying to figure things out, and we have a dynamic leadership team, and Bruce helps sort of marshal us and focus us. And if you are, if you're running a 6-figure company or a 7-figure company and you want to take it to that next level, I would highly recommend that you work with Bruce. Hopefully he got to hear these nice things that I'm saying about him. If not, maybe we can clip it off and send it to him. Looks like people are getting into the waiting room, so that's great. The one thing I wanted to mention was that a few weeks ago, I talked on this show about Governor Greg Abbott. He is the governor of Texas. He's a Republican. He's a real asshole. And he's one of these guys like DeSantis who likes to bus recently arrived migrants to Kamala Harris's house or to New York City and go, he, I'm so clever. But one thing he did that was not so clever was he built out these structures in the middle of the Rio Grande covered with barbed wire, which are designed to prevent people from entering the United States across the river. He declared Texas to be in a state of invasion. And his argument in federal court was actually, because we're under invasion, I can do whatever I want. And the great thing about our judiciary is that our judges are appointed for life. So a judge appointed by Ronald Reagan, who was a staunch conservative, no liberal, a judge appointed by Reagan, a Republican judge, said that Abbott's claim of having basically unfettered access to do whatever he wants because of an invasion was breathtaking in scope. And he struck that down, and he directed Abbott and those clowns in Texas to pull all that shit out of the river and store it on the bank while he figures out whether or not this plan is legal. So the good guys won a temporary victory against Greg Abbott and his hateful program blocking the Rio Grande, which actually has resulted in at least 2 deaths. So we're happy to see about that, and we're happy to be here with all of you. Oh, good. Bruce did get to hear what I said. All right. So I can get you in contact with Bruce if you ever need it. Just email us info@hackinglawpractice.com, and I'll be happy to connect you to our brother Bruce. All right. Naveal is here. Let's see what Naveal has to say. Hi, Naveal.
Hi. I'm a U.S. citizen, and I'm married to a Mexican citizen, and we have 2 kids. Both are born here in the U.S. So this summer, we drove down to Mexico to drop off our kids, and on the way back, they stopped him at the border. It was just my husband and me. They stopped him and they canceled his visa. They couldn't prove that he had a job here, which he doesn't, but he was staying with me. He was living with me, and he admitted it to the officers. So they canceled his visa, and with no penalty apparently. And he signed his declaration, but he never received like a copy of it or anything. And well, I guess my question is it well, because we're apart now, is it viable or is it better for me to apply for his green card uh, here in the States, or can we move over there to Mexico to be all together and apply over there?
What
Would it be
visa
more
did he have?
complicated? It was a tourist visa.
And he would come and go.
Yes.
So what? He would spend 6 months out of the year here and 6 months out of the year in Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Was
that's
he ever
right.
in the United States without permission? Did he ever overstay his visa?
No, his visa is valid. Well, it was valid.
And they revoked it. Why? Because he was married to a U.S. citizen, or what? What did they say? What was
Revoke.
the reason?
No, they canceled it because he had too many entries, and they started just questioning him too much. And then they saw that he had his COVID vaccines here. He got them here in Houston. So he had all the dates on there that didn't coincide with the dates where he came in. So he kind of overstayed that the permission that you get when you travel on land. Can't remember what that one is. I-9 or
I-94.
yes, I-94.
So, how long have you two been together?
Years, like 10 years maybe.
And are you married?
We are married. We've been married since 2020. We just haven't been able to get his things together.
Why?
Money wise, we're not there yet.
I mean, it's about to be a whole lot harder and a lot more expensive than it would have been if you'd done it with him
Mm,
here. So, in answer to your question, um, so I'm going to make some assumptions. I'm going to assume that he never violated the terms of his visa. I'm going to assume that they didn't hit him with a misrepresentation charge and say he was working here when he wasn't supposed to. I mean, you said we don't have his. Usually, they give you a line by line statement of everything they said and you said, and they have you sign it. Did he sign something like that? You just
he
don't have
did.
it.
He did sign it. We don't have it, and there was nobody there with him. But he said that they did explain to him everything in Spanish. So I can't say that he didn't understand because
Mhm.
they said it was in Spanish.
Well, do you know if they said anything? If there are any questions about him working in the United States, that's what I'm mostly worried about. If he was here on a visit.
They did ask him. They did ask him about him working here in the States, which he denied. And they went through his phone because it was unlocked when he gave it to them, and they couldn't find any proof of work, which he doesn't have a job here. I mean, he can't
Okay.
work.
Well, this is a very unusual situation because 99.9% of people just take care of this instead of using the visit visa to come back and forth. I mean, this was bound to happen. You guys were sort of setting up your husband for failure. This was going to happen. So, assuming that he doesn't have any kind of bars for misrepresenting himself or working without authorization or overstaying by more than 6 months or entering without inspection, assuming that he doesn't have any of those things, which I don't know, you don't have to tell me, but those are all things that could cause what I'm about to say to be even more complicated. But basically, what needs to happen is you need to file an I-130 petition. You should file that here in the United States. If
Okay.
you, after it's on file and after you get the receipt back, if you have someone who's checking your mail and make sure that you get your mail, then you could go over to Mexico and hang out with him. You're going to want to come back every now and then and show that you, Nabil, haven't abandoned your residency in the United States. You want to show that you're still connected to the United States. Not a big deal though, because you guys have been living here for a really long time. So that I-130 is going to take a year to get approved. Once that's approved, then he'll start going through the National Visa Center and consular processing. This is what I mean when I say it's more complicated and it's more expensive than it would have been if you guys had just filed for his green card here. So then you have to deal with the National Visa Center. And the worst part is you have to deal with Juarez. And Juarez is backlogged. It's going to take a long time. He's probably not going to be back for 2.5 years, assuming that he has no bars on coming back. So things just got a whole lot more complicated and a whole lot more expensive. But in theory, there's a straight path for him. You can do it from here. You can start it from here and go over there. But like I said, you're going to need to be, you yourself as the U.S. citizen are going to need to be coming back and forth along
For the
way.
process?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep.
But nothing gets started unless you file the I-130. So you don't need proof of your finances. You just need to prove the relationship. So you got 2 kids, get an I-130 on file, do that as fast as you can. It's $535. Throw in the evidence of your kids, your long history together, your marriage since 2020, and at least get that part started, because that's just going to take a year for USCIS to process. Then you have a whole other 8 months with the National Visa Center and then just waiting on Juarez because there's just a huge backlog. And then the other thing I would do is you can do what's called a Freedom of Information Act request from
Oh,
CBP.
yes. We got that. Right. Yeah, we got that. He filed for it and he received the document. It was just like very vague.
From
Like there was
from CBP or USCIS?
Oh no, sorry, that was USCIS.
Yeah, you need to do a FOIA to CBP because you want to see that statement. You want to see what they said about what he allegedly said to them. Because if they were looking around in his phone, I think they're probably going to think he was here working, and that's going to make life even more complicated, and it's going to take even longer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
Thanks, Nabil.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
You got it. She seemed like a very nice lady. Very nice lady. Hopefully that all works out for her. It's going to take a lot longer than it would have if they had just done everything in Houston. All right. Let's say hi to Pal. Hello, Pal.
Hey, Jim. Can I please turn off my camera?
Yeah, you're not driving, are you?
No, my wife is.
Your camera is off. It's just me, my pretty face, and my Cardinals gear on camera. Go for it.
Thank you. We've spoken several times, so again, thank you so much for doing this show.
Sure.
So I recently got a new job offer, and it's in a different state than where I am right now.
Okay.
And I recently just got my green card, so I was just wanting to ask, if when I move states and take up another job, what per USCIS, what do I have to do in order to take up this job? Is there any steps I have to do in terms of immigration?
Just one, and that's to update your address. So you'll file an electronic AR-11 is the name of the form, and within 10 days of moving, you have to notify them of your new address.
Could you repeat that one more time? Sorry.
You need to file an AR-11.
An AR-11 within 10 days of moving.
Correct.
Okay. Is there anything else?
Nope.
Perfect. Awesome. And there's obviously no restrictions or anything else I should consider, correct?
No. Did you get your green card through marriage?
Correct. It's 2 years. It's a 2-year card.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Jim. Thank you for everything you do.
Bye, pal. See you, buddy. All right, remember, everybody, if you're in the waiting room, I'm much more likely to call on you if I see you on camera. The other thing is, if you are driving, I can't talk to you on the phone. So if I don't talk to people that are driving because it's not safe. Koi's ready. What do you say, Koi? Go ahead, Koi.
Hi, can you turn my camera off, please?
I already did.
Okay. So I know that you're like the guru for like thinking as a thinking of as the USCIS agent.
Yeah, I like doing that. That's fun. It's like,
So the thing is, my son is currently ill, and I would like for my mom to get here. I am in the process of um adjusting status, but my mom, she has never seen her grandchild, and he has Wilts tumor cancer, and she she has never traveled. I would like for her to come here on a visa. How would you like tell me how to write to let the social worker write a letter convincing him that she really needs to see her grandson?
I'm very, very sorry about your son.
Yeah, thank you.
How old is he?
He's 3.
Oh my God. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
So was he born in the United States?
Huh?
Was he born in the United States?
Yes.
And you're in the United States.
Yes.
And how did you enter the United States? How did you get to come to the United States?
I came here on a work visa, got married.
And
Got married.
you're going through the process of getting a green card.
Yes.
And what country does mom live in?
Jamaica.
And mom's never been to the United States. Mom has a passport.
Yes, she has a passport.
And what's the prognosis with your son? Like, what do they think is going to happen?
He's doing good so far with treatment. They are to do surgery, but she wanted to be here and help out. But she'll definitely go back. She has never seen him before. So that's her main goal.
Yeah, I understand. How old is mom? Does she have a job?
She's a self-employed.
Doing what?
She sells bakery stuff.
Does
She doesn't.
Does she report income on her taxes in Jamaica?
No.
So she has no income producing job as far as the U.S. government would be concerned when she goes to apply for her visit visa.
No. Yeah. Basically, yeah.
Yeah. And you came to the United States. Were you on an H-2B or what kind of a visa were you on?
We're J1.
And were you supposed to go back home after your J1, or did you not have that rule about Rule 212E?
I got it waived.
You got it waived. Okay, good for you. Okay, so when did you enter the United States? When were you supposed to leave on your J1?
2019.
And you were supposed to leave in 2019?
Mm-hmm.
When did you get married? Before you were supposed to leave or after?
Before.
Okay, so did you file for a change of status while you were still in status on your J1, or was there a period where you were out of status?
Out of status.
Okay, so that's why the reason I'm asking all this is because they will hold your immigration history against your mom.
Oh, okay.
Because you went to the embassy and said, I'm going to go to the United States on a J1, and when my J1 is over, I'm going to come back to Jamaica and restart my life. I promise that I'm going to do that. In getting the DS-160 approved, that's what you did. You promised them that at the end of your J1, however long it was, 6 months or a year or 9 months, whatever it was, you promised that embassy that you were going to come back to Jamaica and not stay in the United States, but you didn't do that. Now, you had the right not to do that. I'm saying that you didn't have the right to do it.
Yeah.
But you came to the United States, you didn't leave on time, and then you fell out of status.
Yeah.
So that means in their mind, you didn't do what you promised to do, and you overstayed and didn't leave when you promised us you would leave. So for those reasons, and the fact that your mom has no job that produces income, I think the chances of her coming are very, very small. She should apply for
Okay.
the DS-160. You can send the medical records, but I don't think they're going to give them to her because they're going to think she's going to do what you did, is just come here and never go back. You can try.
Okay.
As sad as the situation, I mean, if I were in charge of the embassy, I'd give it to her, but I don't
Yeah.
think they're going. I don't think they're going to.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Good luck. Good luck to you and your son.
Yes. Thank you.
Optimus is here. Hello, Optimus. You're on mute.
Okay. Hi, Jim.
How you doing?
I'm well. I trust you are doing good today.
I'm doing great.
Yeah, this is my second time here. I do have a quick question.
Okay.
This isn't about me. What do you think about a student who is here on an F1 in arts, but is has an opportunity to get an EB3 from an employer who is in healthcare?
The person's going to try to change their status inside the United States?
Yes, she's currently on F1, rounding up a program, but she has an employer who is willing to sponsor an EB3,
What's her
but
degree?
in communications.
And what's the job?
The job is in CNA, just a pipeline to transition into healthcare fully, like maybe nursing at the end of the day. But it starts with the CNA program, which she has already completed.
I thought you said she was communication.
Yes, she's the F1 is in communication, but part of the process for the EB3 requires that she has at least a CNA certificate, which you can take informal without having to adjust status. At least in the state where I am, you could take a CNA program and register and do that.
Does she have some sort of relationship, family or romantic or something else with this employer? Why does this employer want her?
No, there's it's nothing, no type of relationship like that. It's just, an employer in the healthcare. Actually, the employer, how do I say this? They hire people because they have in that field, there's health workers are needed, healthcare workers. So yeah, so that's
has the employer? Sorry to interrupt you. Has the employer ever done this before for a different foreign national?
Yes, even for people from outside of the United States.
And when did the person enter the United States on an F1?
She's still in status, I think, last year.
Is she planning to complete the degree?
Yes.
So she has like a year left in her studies, and the thought is the employer could start the process now to go through the labor cert, get the position posted, the prevailing wage, all that stuff.
Yes.
And then the employer is reasonably confident that there aren't any Americans or green card holders who can do the job. So yeah, I mean, in theory it could work. In theory, I'm not a big fan of non-marriage based adjustment inside the United States, but I mean, in theory it could work. I'd rather, the one thing that bothers me is that her degree isn't further. Getting a communication degree seems like a side step from the original CNA, so it seems sort of silly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand, which is exactly why I'm trying to, get an expert view on it. Because I think about it at the back of my head, like, okay, your degree's in another field, but yes, you are.
So that hurts. What country is this person from?
Nigeria.
So right now they're working on right now there's a backlog on EB3s from May of 2020, which means that's 3 years, right? So she'd have to so if they got an I-140 approved, she'd still have a 3-year wait to get the ability to file for a green card based on this, right? So there's a backlog, right? So unless those numbers change, I'm not sure she's gonna be able to maintain her F1 status the whole time that this is all pending. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I thought about that too, but she also plans to, get into nursing. Like, after the I-140 can be on file, but then she plans to, apply to a nursing program and get into nursing. Just
So
a
she could finish her communications degree, get OPT,
yes.
work for a year. Okay, now the only other thing then is she can't, while this is all pending, once that I-140 is on file, it would be problematic for her to leave the United States. So as long as she's comfortable staying here all the way through.
She doesn't plan on leaving.
I mean, I don't like this. Would I file it? Maybe, only if I thought she was really smart and understood how risky it was. Generally, I would vote against this, but if it's her only shot and she understands all the risks, I would file it, but I'd want to make sure the employer knows everything, that the employee knows everything, that we go through the costs and the risks and everything. I'm not a big fan of it, but it's doable.
Okay. All right. That's just what. Oh, sorry. One other question. This would not take long. I have someone who is also on L2, right? That's a class of visa like L1, L2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So can an L2? I know the L1 is the main person. The beneficiary is the L2. So the L2 has an employer, and the employer can the L2, get a green card from the employer too?
They have to stand on their own feet. They'd have to start the whole process. There'd have to be it's just what we just talked about, the nurse. But the L2s can usually get work authorization as in their L2 status.
The L2 has a work authorization. I'm saying like a permanent green card on their own, aside from being the beneficiary from the L1.
They can certainly try.
Oh, okay. Someone just like me. All right, thank you, Jim.
They're just someone in the United States with valid status trying to adjust, but they have to go through everything we just talked about.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Bye, Optimus. See you, buddy. All right. Let's see what Mole has to say. Hello, Mole. You're on mute. You guys know I love calling on people laying in bed. That's like my favorite, especially on Saturdays. You're on mute, Mole. Wait, Hoolie's here. What the heck? Hoolie's here. What the heck? That surprised me. I was like, wait, who hit the "you are on mute" button? That's awesome. That's awesome. Mole, you're on mute.
Okay, yeah. Please, can you turn off my camera? And then thank you for having me. Appreciate that, sir.
Got you off camera.
Okay, thanks, sir. So, yeah, I've been following you for a long time, and I really wanted to ask you a question that bothers me. So, I'm a green card holder. I got my green card through marriage. I got it in 2017.
Okay.
And but I'm currently divorced. I just got my divorce finalized a couple of months ago. I started the process about 1.5 years ago. Anyways, I have somebody. I'm from Nigeria. I have somebody in Nigeria. We're not married, but I'm planning to get married to her. So I'm thinking, what would be the easiest and fastest way to bring her over here to the U.S.?
Okay.
Do
So we have to back up.
I don't have my citizenship yet. I think I'm eligible to file for citizenship. I don't know if I should do the K1 visa or the process.
Hold on. You're way down the track. I want to go back to the station, and then we'll go down the track. Okay.
Okay.
So, when did you come to the United States?
I came in 2012.
What kind of a visa did you have in?
On an F1 visa.
And you went to school?
Yes.
Did you graduate?
Yes.
What country are you from?
I'm from Nigeria.
And so you got your bachelor's or your master's, or what did
Masters.
you get? And
Master.
then you got OPT?
I didn't get OPT. So just before I graduated, that was when I got married, because I finished school in 2015.
Okay. And when you lived in Nigeria before you came to the United States, had you ever applied for a visa to the United States before?
No, my first application was the F1.
And when you went to the embassy in Nigeria to get your visa, had you ever been married before?
No.
So first marriage was in the United States towards the end of your F1, and instead of filing for OPT, you filed a 485 I-130, and you filed for work authorization, and then you got approved. Did you get a 2-year green card originally or a 10-year green card originally?
2 years.
Any problems? Any problems at the green card interview? Did they separate you? Any problems?
No.
Okay, and then you filed the 751, and that's been approved. So now you have a 10-year green card.
That's correct.
What's the start date on your original green card?
I think it's May, um, May 2017.
Okay, why haven't you applied for citizenship?
Because of the 5-year rule, I think that's
You're past that because we're in 2023.
yeah, that was last year, and so yeah, and then okay, so it was 5 years last year, but I was in the middle of a divorce at that time, so I wasn't sure if I should do that
Okay.
or.
That's okay. That's not bad. I'm cool with that. Now, if USCIS came and knocked on your ex-wife's door tomorrow and say, "Hey, what can you tell us about old Mull?" What would she say?
Great things about me.
Well, good. I like to hear it. She would say it was a real marriage and that we got married for love. It just didn't work out.
Yes,
And she would say, "I hope Mull gets to keep his green card
definitely. Yes.
and become a citizen." Okay. All right.
Yes.
Then I wouldn't. And any criminal stuff?
No record.
So I wouldn't mess around with the marriage since you've waited this long. I would go ahead if it's okay with you, just because, getting a green card, getting a 10-year green card, then getting a divorce, it does raise the interest level in a marriage, right? And then if you before getting your citizenship get married to someone else back in the home country, then that causes a whole other thing because they're going to say, "Aha, now we found it. He really was in love with this person back in Nigeria the whole time he was married to the Americani lady. And that was all a scam just to get him a green card. And now we know the real motive for Mull is to get his real girlfriend, his real love of his life from Nigeria, right?" So
Okay.
my vote is don't mess around with that at all. I mean, you can go meet her and all that stuff,
Yes.
but what I would do is I would apply for citizenship. I would get that squared away. And after that, I would get married and then apply to bring her here. And I wouldn't do a fiance. I would do a marriage because I'm down on fiance cases right now.
Okay. I think that would be all. Thank you very much, sir.
Bye, Mull. See you, buddy. Kaleem is here. Hello, Kaleem.
Hey Jim, how are you?
Good, but I can barely hear you. It seems like the mic's really far from your mouth.
Can you hear me now? I'm speaking up now.
It's a little better. Go ahead.
Okay, so quick question for you. I've applied for my sister as an American citizen for long further F4 category. And one of her kiddos that is on the application, I had her birthday wrong. I did realize, I think a year down the line, and I did wrote USCIS with the reference in a letter that, hey, this is a mistake I made, this is the birth certificate, so on and so forth. Got no response. It's been a couple of years, 5 years or so. Any thoughts to correct that at this time or wait until it goes to NBC?
Yeah, I would just wait for NBC. You got proof that it was delivered?
Yes.
The I-130 is still pending?
It is pending, yeah.
Yeah, I would just sit tight. I don't think there's much to do.
Okay. And then the second one is the FOIA for a USCIS and CBP are two different things. I've heard you earlier on the call, and they pull out different information?
Yep, for
Okay.
sure.
All right. Thanks, Jim. That's all.
Bye, Kaleem. See you, buddy.
Take care.
Varun is here. Hello, Varun.
Hey Jim, how are you doing today?
I'm great.
Yeah, Jim, I was here a couple of days back, and quick story short, I've applied my GC, and that was on the marriage-based thing. And while I applied, I was on my F1, and right now I'm on my CPT, and I have my EAD card on me. So would that be okay if I discontinue my CPT course, or shall I continue until I get my I-485?
The 45 is based on marriage?
Yes.
And is the I-130 still pending?
I-130 got approved.
Okay. Anything that you think might keep you from getting your green card approved?
No, because I got an RFE. We have answered the RFE.
And the RFE was for more marital evidence?
They have asked me about my my initial university transcript, official transcript, and the second one was my wife's pay stubs.
They asked you for your transcripts?
The official transcripts from my university.
The university where you're taking CPT from?
No, I entered the United States and completed my first semester in a different university, and then I got transferred to a different university, and they wanted to check if I've completed my first semester in the first initial university. So they have asked the first initial university transcript.
And you got it for them?
Yes.
And it matches?
Yes.
That's a strange request. In answer to your question, if you're so darn close to getting your green card, I might just keep things status quo. If they've got the RFE response, if the I-130 has been approved, if you can avoid, I mean, I hate CPT. I talk about CPT all the time. I think there's big problems with CPT, and I think USCIS is sort of obsessed with CPT.
Mhm.
But I think that you're probably so close to getting your green card, then I might just wait to work on the work card just because you've almost made it, if that makes sense.
So is that like, should I still continue my CPT or?
I can't tell you what to do. I'm just telling you what I would do.
Okay. Sure. Yep, that answers my question, Jim, and thanks for whatever you are doing to the people out there. Thank you.
Bye, Varun. See you, buddy. All right, Posse's here. Hello, Posse.
Hi, hello. Good
How you
evening.
doing?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm doing great, thank you. What can I help you with?
I have a case complicated. I am a wife of American citizen since 2019, and my husband applying for me and for my daughter for I-130, and the case doesn't get any decision until 2021 or 2020, and finally I get denied. But the case for my daughter, she get approved, and my husband applied for the appeal, and the appeal also until now we don't get any decision. My appeal is still pending, but my case status for my daughter is still approved, but we don't get the letter from the USCIS or the letter from the National Visa Center, and we're asking to get the letter more and more, but nothing is get happened. And the reason for the denial for me, the USCIS said, because the ex-wife for my husband, she sent a letter asking them she not approved for her divorce because he divorced her in Egypt. He's get married for her in Egypt, so he divorced her in Egypt. And when they went to the family court in Florida, the family court approved for the divorce in Egypt, and they said, you are already divorced, so we can't do anything here. The family court divorced only the families that they are in marriage, but you are divorced, so we can't do anything. You are already divorced. What is that said? That the USCIS said, yeah, we know the family court approved for you divorced, but we are not approved for this divorced, so they denied my case, and we can't do anything. The family court, they said you are already divorced, but they can't do new divorce. They already divorced in 2018, so 1 year before married me, and until now that my appeal is still pending, and the case status for my daughter, we then received any email, any letter for the invoice number or anything for the status. When we send the requirement, we don't get also any response.
Stop worrying about your daughter's case. If your marriage to your husband wasn't valid, then the relationship that needs to be in existence to support her application doesn't exist. So I would stop banging my head on the wall on your daughter's case, and I'd focus on your marriage case. So
Yep.
Did a lawyer file your appeal, or did you file the appeal on your own?
No, the appeal filing by the lawyer attorney.
And did the lawyer say that USCIS is wrong, or does the lawyer just think USCIS is wrong? Because USCIS is either wrong or right.
Exactly, he said that. He said the USCIS is wrong, mistake, and he said we have a right to get immigrant status, immigrant case, because I'm a wife for the husband, for the U.S. citizen, and what he said, we have to apply for the appeal, and you have a right for that, and we are waiting, but we are waiting for the appeal from October 2020, and now we are 2023.
Right, but what I'm saying is, the marriage and the divorce, the divorce was either valid or it wasn't valid. And
the divorce for my husband, the divorce, he get divorced here in Egypt in November 2018.
I understand. But what I'm saying is, either USCIS was right that the divorce in Egypt, which is the only divorce he has, if that wasn't valid, then the appeal was a waste of time. Now, this is totally not what I would have done. If I were your lawyer and some court in Florida said, we can't let him get divorced because he's already divorced in Egypt, I would have gone over to the next court, and I would keep going until I find a place that lets me get divorced, right? So I hate having to rely on foreign divorces for purposes of immigration. It's much cleaner and much better to get an actual divorce, not an endorsement of a divorce from overseas. Does that make sense? So I would not have done what your lawyer did. I would not have appealed. I would have said, okay, mister, you're moving to Texas, or you're moving to a different part of Florida, and we're going to file for divorce. And we're going to, I mean, now you can even argue USCIS doesn't recognize that divorce from Egypt, so I have to get divorced now. So in my mind, instead of waiting these last 3 years, fighting over whether that divorce was legal, I would have just gotten a new divorce.
So you mean he must doing a new divorce, but the family court said you are already divorced. How can they divorce you?
Then I would go to a different court. I don't care what the family court said, because family court works for the state of Florida. If USCIS won't recognize it, that means you're not coming. I could care less what Florida says. What I care about is what USCIS says. Now, all that being said, you have 3 years in waiting. So I can get them to give you a decision in about 60 days. We can sue them and get a decision. I just don't know. They might stand by their decision. I haven't looked at it. I don't know. I don't know if your lawyer is right or wrong.
I don't know. But
you've waited 3 years, so you might as well sue them, get a final decision. And if they say again, no, we're sticking by our decision, he wasn't legally free to marry you.
He divorced her in 2018, and she applied for the divorce case in family court in 2019. So 1 year after the divorce.
I understand.
When they get married in Egypt because she is Egyptian, and when they get divorced in Egypt.
Now, the person that we're talking about, this divorce, did that person sponsor him for a green card, or has he always been a citizen?
No, he was a citizen.
He was born in the United States.
No, I'm not born in the United States. He was in the United States now 45 years. And when he get married for her, he was in citizen. He gets a citizen for the other lady, the other wife.
How did he get his green card?
He get the green card when he get married for the other American lady, and she gave him the green card and the citizenship during the 10 years. And then they get divorced, and he traveled to Egypt, and when he has a citizenship, and he get married with her.
So how many times has your husband married? 2 times?
Yeah.
So let's call this lady Alice. So your husband is an Egyptian citizen, right?
Yeah, this is originally.
When your husband was born, he was an Egyptian citizen.
Yeah, exactly. He's my cousin.
He married this lady named Alice, and Alice sponsored him for a green card. Is that right?
Exactly.
Okay, and the marriage to Alice is the divorce that we've been talking about, right?
Yeah.
So that's a whole other issue then. So that's a whole other issue. They think that he just married her to get a green card so that he could become a citizen, so he could sponsor you. So that's why they're giving you such a fight.
Yeah.
So if you want to sue them and get a final decision, 3 years is too long. They're not going to fight me and say 3 years isn't too long. They might deny it. They might approve it. I don't know. Your lawyer says they're wrong. I don't know if they're wrong or not. It's not what I would have done. I would have filed a new divorce. The USCIS never says that American divorces are invalid. They only say overseas divorces are invalid. So I always want to get people divorced from the United States, even if the spouse is in Egypt. You file for divorce in Florida, you file divorce in Georgia or Alabama, you get it on file, you serve them notice, and then you get it finalized here. I don't give a shit what Egypt said. I want an American divorce so that I'm free to marry. And then Posse, you're starting over. Then if he wasn't legally divorced, then all this time has been wasted. And now you got to get divorced and get remarried and start all over.
Yeah. So now we are waiting from 2019, and now we are in 2023. What is the wrong the good advice for us, because it's too long.
The good advice is sue them, force them to make a decision, and then if the decision is they reverse it, then you're in good shape and you're getting your green card. If not, you're in good shape because you're going to find out that this marriage is fundamentally flawed because it's based on a divorce that USCIS won't recognize. Do you understand what I'm saying?
He registered his divorce in the city, and also he registered our marriage in the city.
Not the city. USCIS.
The USCIS said in the letter we get received, we are approved. You are get married and your wife, and we are approved. This is the normal the normal marriage, and you get all the relationship between your wife, and everything is normal. We are approved for everything, but we are not recognized your divorce.
So you understand that USCIS they have the key. They have the key, yeah. Right? Yeah. Are you inside the United States or are you in Egypt?
No. I'm in Belgium.
You're in Belgium. Okay. So they have the key to the United States. They get to decide. Jim doesn't get to decide. Posse doesn't get to decide. Your husband doesn't get to decide. Florida doesn't get to decide. USCIS decides whether or not you're coming to the United States. So if USCIS says that divorce that he got isn't valid for purposes of immigration, then Posse doesn't come to the United States. They are the king, they are the judge, they are the sole decider, right? So unless you make them happy, you're not coming to the United States because they have the key.
If we applying again for the new form, new I-130, in a new place, new state, is good.
Only if you get divorced. According to USCIS, unless they change their mind on appeal, he's still married to that lady in Egypt, which means you could file 5 I-130s today, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. You could file 5 of them. None of them are valid because he's still legally married in their eyes, and their eyes are the only ones that matter. That's what I'm trying to get through to you.
But the paper for the divorce, they come in from Egypt. He recognized it in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and also recognized it in the embassy in the United States of the embassy.
That might be true. That might be true. But you know what? They didn't recognize it for you. They didn't recognize it for you. And that's why you're in Belgium and not in the United States, because they think he's still married. That's why.
But he not married her in the States.
Who cares? Who cares? It only matters what USCIS says. And as things stand right now, in your case, they say he's still married. They say he was not free to marry you, and therefore the I-130 must be denied. So until you fix that, until you convince them, oh, he is free to marry. I think your appeal is probably a loser, but you spent 3 years waiting for it. You might as well force them to make a decision so that you can go on with your life. Because right now you're stuck. You're stuck in Belgium because they're not changing their mind. They're not changing their mind, and you're not doing anything to get them to change your mind. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Also,
right,
he applying to me for
I gotta go.
I-129.
I gotta go. If you want us to sue them, I can get you a decision. I can get you a decision probably in about 3 months, and then you can either win your green card or you can
Hello?
start over, which I think is what you're
Hello?
going to have to do. Okay. All right. I think her computer locked up. Let's see what Amber has to say. Hello, Amber.
Hey Jim, how are you doing? It's good to see you. I was referred to you by Muhammad Ali. I hope you know him. He's a friend pharmacist. I'm a pharmacist as well. I'm gonna try to be as short as possible. Your time is very valuable.
You're fine.
Yes, sir. So I'm a green card holder, and I filed for my wife in Egypt. Okay, she got to the interview point, and the interview went fine. Everything was okay. The officer, the counselor was amazing, and then he took her passport and gave her a paper and all that. She was about to walk out, and everything is done. Everything is good, right? For some reason, I don't know what happened, but she asked him and requested to change my address from Miami because I used to live in Miami, and I moved to my job, closer to my job, bought a house and all that, just kind of to update the application, just, hey, when you send the green card, send it to his current address. And that was a mistake. I figured afterwards that was a mistake. Then he basically gave her the passport and handed her a DS5530 form, some sort of a form, right? And he goes, "Oh, you will need to you need to file and fill this form, and then, we'll get back to you." And ever since, it's been 6 months now. I request a congressional inquiry, in regards to this matter, and they told me, that they excuse, hey, priority date and all that, but she already had an interview, and it was a legit cause. If he checked my tax return, he will see that the previous job was in Miami, and this current, this address tied to it in Miami, and the current tax forms, it's in Holiday, Florida, which is, this is why I moved. I can't work in Clearwater, and I live in Miami, right? So that was it, honestly. And I don't know. I believe I'm close to my citizenship. Hopefully, I can have an interview in the next few months. Already applied for the N400 and all that, but it's been almost 3.5 years filed for my wife, and
How did you get your green card?
through VAWA.
That was based on marriage to a U.S. citizen?
Correct. Yes, it was through VAWA, very legit, and
what's the priority date on the I-130 that you filed for your wife?
sure, yes, sir. It's April 2021.
April 2021.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the priority date for the spouses of green card holders retrogressed a couple months ago. And right now, the final action date is January of 2018, which
Correct.
means there's 3 years of people in line ahead of your wife. I don't think it's because she mentioned the address. I don't think it's because of the 5535. They simply can't give her a visa right now. There are too many people in line ahead of her.
Yeah. So my question to you: do you think if I get my citizenship, that will kind of move waters?
You have to. You have to get your citizenship. The only way she's coming anytime in the next 3 years is if you get your citizenship. Otherwise, she's just waiting, and that line's probably going to get longer, not shorter.
Sure. Do you think that was the first question? Second question, very quick before do you think we can do anything? Anything?
Nope. Nothing.
Nope.
Except get your
Nothing.
citizenship. Now, listen. Here's the thing.
Sure.
I think. The person that you're married to now, did you know this person before you came to the United States?
Yeah, she used to live in the same neighborhood, but we never been in a relationship or anything. So.
Okay, so when you go to your citizenship interview, they're going to think that you've been in a relationship with this person back in Egypt the whole time, and that your marriage to the person that you got the VAWA from was just a scam to get you a green card. So when you go in for your citizenship exam, I think you should expect tough questions on how you ended up in the United States, how you ended up marrying the person that you filed the VAWA claim against, the validity of that marriage, and then whether or not you had any kind of secret relationship with this person that you're now sponsoring. Because, you know, on your N400, you have to list your current spouse. That's going to be an area that I think they'll spend most of the time at your interview talking to you about, and you probably want to prepare for that well, maybe even bring an attorney with you to the interview, because I think it might be easy, might just skate right through, but they might give you a hard time.
That's right. Yeah, this is that makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Yep. Any other advice?
No, you just, like I said, get your citizenship, because that's the best way she's going to get here.
And after the citizenship, then things will change? Will request to move it from green card based to citizen, and then kind of.
Yeah, and then at that point, I mean, what I would do if I were you at that point, if you get your citizenship, then what I would do is I would send a letter to USCIS with a copy of the NAT certificate and a letter to the National Visa Center and to the embassy, and then I would say, hey, look, you clowns, you interviewed my wife 4 months ago, and then another 4 months went by while I got my citizenship. Now it's been 8 months since your interview. Here's my naturalization certificate. She's the spouse of a U.S. citizen. I'm going to give you 60 days. If you don't approve her visa in 60 days, then I'm going to sue you in federal court in the United States, and then push it out at that point.
I got it. And 100% is going to be through you, Jim. I can give you my word.
Oh,
Right?
yeah. Oh, yeah. Whatever.
I know.
That's
I know. Again, let me appreciate all of what you do here on these platforms, and I really do appreciate your time, and thank you, and I wish you have a good weekend. Thank you.
Thanks, Cameron. See you, buddy.
Thank you, Jim. Bye.
You got it. Cameron's here. Hello, Cameron.
Hi, Jim. How are you? Okay.
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Sorry for the video. Is that okay if I keep it off?
It's already off.
Right. Okay. I have a bit of question like regarding the changing of status. I know you're not a big fan of that within the US. One of my friend, he's on the B1, B2 in US, and he has got an I-20. He wants to change the status, but after watching your videos and shared your videos, he's willing to come back and go for the consular processing. So what do you suggest? Will that be easy process, or if they deny him, will they revoke his B1, B2 as well?
Well, what's the job that he wants to get?
He's a businessman, and I think he's enrolling for a degree of project management. He's got family back home in Pakistan.
So what visa does he currently what visas has he had to the United States?
A B1, B2. He's on visitor visa at the moment.
He's here in the United States.
Yes, he is.
Okay, so he's supposed to leave after 6 months, and he's planning on leaving after 6 months.
He wants to stay there and change his status to F1, but I have shared him the video and suggested him to come back and go through the consular processing, because it might be a problem in the future.
How old is he?
He's 40 years of age.
When was the last time he was in school?
I think it's a study gap of 20 years, because
they're not going to give him a student visa.
They're not going to give him, yeah?
Not here nor there.
Right, okay. So, but, all right, okay. So you won't get it even in consular processing?
Nope.
No, right, okay. Okay, I shared this thing as well with him, so that will be great.
Thanks,
well,
Cameron.
you're educating people.
Yep.
I'm following you from a very long time, and God bless you. Take care. Allah Hafiz.
Thanks, buddy. Masalama. All right. That was Cameron. Zadeh is back. Hello, Zadeh.
Hi, Jim. Thank you very much for your time. I think you remember me, so you remember my case.
No, hold on. I remember you. I don't remember your case. Sorry.
Okay, very quickly. So I mentioned about the green card case of my family that is now at NVC, and they're waiting abroad. They're living abroad, waiting for the priority date to become current. I asked whether they can come to visit me on a visitor visa. You said they can apply for a visa, and but the probability is very low that they get the visa. And applying for a visa will not harm the green card case as long as they're honest and truthful.
Yeah.
So I have a follow-up question. I asked the same question 2-3 years ago when we wanted to start this process. And the lawyer that was talking to 2, 3 years back, she gave me an answer. I want to see if you agree with her. So she said that there is a risk that even if they're approved for the visa, for the visitor visa at the embassy, they could still be denied entry by CBP at the airport due to immigration intent. In
True.
recent years, rather than being allowed to withdraw the application for entry and fly back to their home country, CBP has frequently placed these individuals in expedited removal, which means they're deported and barred from re-entering the United States for 5 years. Is this true?
It is possible. It's very, very rare. But it is possible. Yeah. I haven't heard that, but I believe that that's something they would do.
Okay, so it's very high risk.
Yeah. And it's high risk and low chance of working.
Got it. All right. Thank you. Just wanted to check this with you.
Bye, Zade. See you, buddy. So I'm going to go probably an extra 15 minutes today just because I'm waiting on my buddies. They won't be here for about 20 minutes. So I'm just killing time. I'll be trying to answer some more questions for the next 20 minutes or so, 15. This will be our substitute show for Monday. We're not going to have a show on Monday. I forgot to put one of Noor's softball games on the calendar. So I'll be watching softball instead of hanging with you guys. The next 2 weeks, we have softball almost every day. So I'll try to do as many shows as I can, probably do some more weekend shows. I'm so lucky Huli's here. She's at some coffee bar or restaurant running the board, and I really appreciate her. As always, she didn't even know I was going live today, so it's really sweet of her to stay here and try to help. Let's say hi to Ziad. Hello, Ziad. You're on mute.
Hey.
There you go.
So, Jim, I want to talk about, I'm planning to apply my 485J. I'm planning to change my employer. I filed 485 under EB2. I was born in Saudi Arabia. So my priority date, little background, my priority date is May 2021, around May 15, 2021. And I-140 is approved January 2021.
And you said EB2?
EB2, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So the following December 2021, my I-140 is approved, and I'm since waiting for green card here at Indianapolis. It's almost 2 years now. It will be in December. It will be 2 years since I filed. So I'm planning to change my employer. So my H1 is up October 10th, next month. So I'm not planning to renew my H1 and using my green card EAD. I have EAD and advanced bureau. So my question is, once I go to use my EAD and switch to a new employer, I know that my H1 would be terminated or invalidated, whatever that is. So for some reason, God forbid, my 485 gets denied. What will be my options then?
Why wouldn't you keep your H-1B option available?
The main reason is it's too expensive. It's getting too expensive for me to transfer. It's almost $5,000 to transfer my H1, and I have to bear the cost.
That's illegal. You can't bear the cost.
Yeah, the employer, that's what they're saying, that I have to bear the cost. They don't have, so they're going the background, they're decreasing the rate and stuff, so it's problematic.
That's illegal. You should not do anything with that company.
Oh, so I shouldn't join that company, that's what you're saying?
Not if they're asking you to break the law.
Okay. I didn't knew that it was illegal.
The employer has to pay all legal fees related to the H-1B.
Okay.
I mean, are they paying you right at the prevailing wage level, like right at the number?
It's more than that.
Is it $5,000 more than that?
No.
Okay, so remember, with an H-1B, the goal of Congress is to protect the American worker. So let's say that the prevailing wage is $100,000. Okay, if they're going to pay you $102,000, but you're paying $5,000 for the transfer, the legal fees, and all that stuff, then they're actually paying you less than the prevailing wage, and that's where the violation comes in.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm thinking about, yeah, I don't know, I haven't decided, but if I go through the route of just using my 485.
Can I throw out a different thing?
Sorry, what was that?
Can I throw out something else?
Yeah.
A different plan? Why
Go
not
ahead.
sue? Why not sue them and say you guys have been waiting almost 2 years to give me my green card? My I-140 has been approved. My priority date is current. Give me my damn green card, and then once you have your green card, you go do whatever you want.
So when can I sue them now, or?
Mhm.
Okay, so I thought it should pass 2 years since
I mean, that would be better, but unless there's some reason why they don't want to give you your green card, I think they're just sitting on it, and you probably just need to sue them. But I'm not trying to talk you into it. I'm just saying, but you've waited long enough, and there's something up if they're just sitting on it. It's probably because your name is Ziad.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I contacted them through Congressperson. They said it's under review, but earlier they said they were waiting on an interview. So, but that's all they said.
Yeah, that's all BS.
Yeah. So your advice would be to just sue them?
I wouldn't mess. When does your H-1B run out?
Next month.
Next month?
Yeah, October.
And is the current employer willing to sponsor you to renew the H-1B or no?
Yes.
Yeah, so let them do that. Let that play itself out, and then at some point, if you want to sue them, we can do it now. We can do it after you get your H-1B. Might be a good idea to wait till after you get one H-1B. That gets you closer to that 2-year mark. So I think that's what I would do. I would let the H-1B play itself out. I'd say thank you very much for renewing my H-1B, and then once that's been approved, or once you're sick of waiting, then sue them. And if we sue them in October, by the time the judge looks at it, it's 2 years old, which is almost the same thing as waiting a full 2 years to sue them, if that makes sense.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Thank you for the advice, though. Thank you, Jim.
Hi, Ziad. See you, buddy. Yep. Jamili's here. Hello, Jamili.
Hi, Jim. How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing? Is that an Oregon State Beavers shirt I see you wearing?
Yes, it is indeed.
What's up?
I'm just in a contact with you from the state of California, but I love this jersey shirt.
Nice.
Pretty quick questions in regards to family petitions and as well as humanitarian parole. In terms of family petitions, when the case is at a U.S. embassy and ready for interview, scheduled for interview and ready for interview. So if you add a derivative, can you add a derivative or you cannot?
Is the petitioner a U.S. citizen or a green card holder?
U.S. citizen.
They have to file a new I-130.
File a new I-130 for
a new person.
Okay. So even though it's the parents of U.S. citizen?
Well, who's the derivative? Their kid, like the petitioner's brother?
It is the son, yes, and the son. And
yeah, no, that's not how that works. There's no derivative for that. For when you file for your mom or dad, your brothers and sisters are not derivatives. They have to. There's a whole different process for that. Basically, what you have to do is get a green card for mom and dad, have them come to the United States, then they apply for brother or sister themselves.
Okay, if they are under 21, they cannot like join together with my parents.
Correct.
Okay. So in terms of humanitarian parole questions, so I was wondering, like when it's approved, the chances. I'm sure you have heard. I'm following all your videos regarding the U.S. Embassy in Islamabad, Pakistan, and it's taking a very long time.
Yeah.
I was wondering why there is a whole delay for there.
Because they suck. Because they suck, and the State Department isn't doing anything to make them move faster. What's the humanitarian angle? I don't get the humanitarian angle. What are you trying to do there?
So yes, my brothers. I was serving with the United States Armed Forces, and my brothers were in Afghanistan, and they were experiencing a lot of hardships, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So therefore, I petitioned for them as a humanitarian parole to come to the United States, and their petition has been approved, and it's in the U.S. Embassy in Islamabad, Pakistan. But it's a very long time.
Yeah. What about so for your parents' case, are that you have I-130s on file for both of them? They've both been approved and they've both been documentarily qualified.
That is correct. They have been scheduled for an interview as well.
They did have an interview, or they've been scheduled for an interview.
They have a schedule for interview, but
When
it's
is
not Islamabad. I have transferred them to Qatar.
Okay. When is it?
It is in October.
Okay, so I would wait and see how that goes. I'd have them mention the humanitarian petitions that were filed for your brothers, see what they say, and then go from there. You can call me back if you want at that point, and maybe we just file a lawsuit for everybody for if they don't give your mom and dad the visa.
Oh, okay. Okay. How? It has been a while since 2021 that I have petitioned for them. So do you think it's not taking a very long time? Is there, like any room right now to?
I mean, Islamabad's bad, just bad. The fact that you got them interviews, that's helpful. Let's just hope they get their visas, and then we revisit it then after we hear what happens to them.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you
Thanks,
very much.
Bye, buddy. All right, Sammy's here. Hello, Sammy. I can barely hear you, Sammy.
How are you, Mr. James?
Oh, that's much better. How you doing?
Hello?
Go ahead.
I'm
Old Sammy. We can hear Sammy, but Sammy can hear us. Can you hear me, Sammy?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, go ahead.
Yes, I have a question about I've been trying to join the show, but I think I have a network problem sometimes. So my issue here, I have my I-485 and I-130, I-131 apply, and I had a chat by someone. So the person took me to child support. So I wanted to know, is there anything like affecting my immigration process?
Where are you from?
I'm from Ghana.
When did you come to the United States?
I'm a asylum seeker.
What?
I was seeking asylum. I was granted an asylum.
You were granted asylum, and now you're for adjustment based on asylum, or you?
Yes.
Wait. How did you enter the United States?
I crossed the border.
Okay. So you crossed the border and you applied for asylum. And did you get asylum? Did you get approved for asylum or no?
Yes. I was granted an asylum, and I filed my I-485 and also travel documents as well.
And that 45 is still pending?
Yes. I submitted it last month.
Last month? And what was the charge that you wanted to talk about? What's the charge?
I have the question is, now I have a child. I have a son by American citizen.
Oh, you're saying child. I think you said charge.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, no, it's not child.
Okay. So you had a child, so U.S. citizen, right?
Yes.
So what's the question? Does that help your case, or does that hurt your case, or does it have any effect on your case?
Yes. So does it affect my case in terms of applying for my?
No, I don't think so. It's probably helps your case. Why would it affect your case?
Okay, because I did take care of the child, but she took me to a child support because she wants me, and I said no, I don't want her because I'm always busy working. I'm trying to, because I have family back home. I take care of them, so she's like, I'm always busy working, and it's like I don't pay attention to her, so it's like kind of problems. I said, okay, that's how, of course, I grew up with those kind of household field, so I'm always like that. So if you can't,
How old is the kid?
He's 1 month. 10 months. Going for 1 year next month.
And did you say you are paying for the kid, or you are not paying for the kid?
Well, I'm not paying child support now, but because of I don't know where the issue was, because she took me to child support, which is I don't take care of the child, but whether I have a proof and everything that I take care of the child.
Well, so what happened to that case?
He's still with the mom.
I don't know. What happened to the case? Did the judge say you owe child support? Did the judge say you don't owe child support?
No, yet. I'll be going on this month, 22nd.
Well, so I would think that the issue of whether or not you're paying your child support will probably come up at your green card interview. If you're a green card interview, you might not have an interview.
Come again?
You might not have a green card interview. If you do, they might ask you about child support. They could ask you about that for sure.
Oh, okay. Because I do take care of him since he was born, so I have a.
Well, you got to make sure you have proof of that you can convince the judge. That's the whole. You don't want judgment saying that you're a deadbeat dad not paying child support. That's what you don't want. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Sammy.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sergeant.
Bye, buddy. All right, everybody. That'll do it for today's show. If you have a minute and can leave us a quick review, go to reviewhackinglaw.com. We'll be back on Tuesday at noon Central. Hope you all have a great rest of the weekend. No show tomorrow, and no show Monday. We'll be back Tuesday at noon Central. Noon Central on Tuesday. And again, if you have a minute, could leave us a 5-star review. It would mean the world to me. Reviewhackinglaw.com. Thanks, everybody, and have a good night. You look all glamorous. You look all glamorous.
Yeah. No, I came to a coffee house. I'm doing a course right now. So I came to a different place to study a little bit. And then
Nice.
I noticed my notification, like Jim was doing a show. Look, he's doing a show without me. Like, man.
What course are you taking?
I'm actually taking two. One is customer service. I found one. For now, it looks pretty good. I have 24% away already. And I have another one. It's how to be a leader.
Nice. Good work. Good work. Thanks, Julie. Well, have a good weekend. I'll see you Monday.
Monday. Okay, bye.
Thanks for your help.
You're welcome.